All right, first things first, let's make sure that we have selected our boundary layer, because this is the one we're going to start working on here. Under step 5, first thing first, let's get our boundary layer set the way we want it. All right, see our boundary layer, but we can't see anything underneath it. We could change we could change it so we could see through the layer, but that doesn't get us what we want either. What we're really looking for here is a solid red line that just outlines our property. And the way that the parcels came in from GIS, you see there's all these interior lines in the way as well. There's lots of different ways to do this. We could come through and we could neatly kind of delete things out, but here's the way I'd like you to do it. First, grab the marquee tool. It's sitting over here on the side. If you go ahead and hold down on the left mouse button, you can go ahead and get to the rectangular marquee tool. And I want you to delete all this other stuff that we're not going to use. So delete off, and maybe it would help to go ahead and turn off all the other layers so we can really see what it is we're looking at here, right? Go ahead and delete off all of this extra stuff. All right, and then we're left with the boundary and some white space. Well, in order to get rid of the white space, fortunately we have a tool. It's called the Magic Wand tool, usually hiding underneath this quick selection tool. What the Magic Wand tool does is that when the contiguous button is selected up here, it'll select all of the pixels of a certain color that are adjoining to one another. So as long as there's not an interrupting different color that interrupts that, it'll select all of them. And then if you hit the delete key again, you see what I get. I get an entire, just the boundary information that I want, but I still have this problem. Right? There's stuff hiding in the middle here. And so I want to get rid of that as well. Well, the easiest way to do that is, again, I can use the Magic Wand tool and select all of this other space. You see how it's going around all the outside of this, right? All the way around. But then if I use this, it's called a selection inverse, which involves Control Select I, which actually the instructions here appear to be wrong. But then I've created a new selection. I can create a new layer by clicking down here in the bottom of the box. And I can go ahead and use the paint bucket, which is hiding over here, usually underneath the gradient tool. And I can dump that in. And you'll see now that I have a new layer that's hiding, of just the information I'm looking for. Now the next step in the process asks you, well, that's great, but now we've got a big white blob sitting over the top of our park. Well, so the next step in the process asks you to go ahead and manipulate the layer properties. And the way you do that is you double click on the layer, and we go in to stroke, and we can say, we can adjust whether this sits on the inside or outside. For this, it's fine to sit on the outside. We can adjust the thickness, and we can adjust the color. Right? And so suddenly I've got exactly what it is I'm looking for. I could certainly add some other features to this. I could add a drop shadow to it if I wanted, but, to be honest, let's go ahead and give that a shot. It's not probably necessary at this point. It may not also be visible, but you can put a small drop shadow on that and see if it kind of stands out as well. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up the base. Let's look. I can't see the park underneath. So what I need to do is the last step in the process is I need to go ahead and change this and click multiply. And so suddenly now you can see that this kind of goes around the edge. Now, I'm also kind of bothered by the fact that the line is sitting just outside of all of that parcel line. Remember what we did with the stroke command? We set it to the outside. I think I want to set it to the center. And look, I eliminate that issue. And you've finished manipulating the boundary layer.